Good morning, OTG all over the world, New Skin family. This is the last broadcast for 2017. Hard to believe the year's gone again. If you're like me, it's a little bit frightening to see how fast these things are going by, right? But anyway, nevertheless, such is life, and life moves on. Hope everybody's had a wonderful Christmas vacation. We've got New Year's coming upon us here in a couple of days. Today's the 29th of December. And it's the last Ask Anything Friday. And for me this year to broadcast here on One Team Global's Facebook page. And like many of you, you might have got a little scratchy throat here over the holidays. I know there's been a little bit of a cold and flu running around. Hope you're all doing well and feeling good. I'm going to work through my voice this morning and hopefully communicate with you the thoughts I have in my mind today as it relates to human potential and as it relates to goal setting. And this is something that I've been a student of for most of my life, and I've learned how to put into practice many of these things that I think can really help you accomplish your goals and your dreams and your desires. So we're now sitting in Southern California enjoying some of the beautiful weather that's been happening here. We arrived yesterday and we spent Christmas at the ranch with the entire family. Had a really amazing Christmas and a great time spending time together there. I'm going to share my screen and use some of these slides to help us walk through these concepts of setting goals. So let me just bring up this presentation. Hopefully you can all see that, and we can get started. So I just want you to take this really today. We're going to, of course, capture this on Facebook. We'll have this recorded video. And you can share this with other people and share this with yourself. A lot of these concepts haven't changed a lot. You can see in the bottom right screen, I copyrighted these things in 2005. I actually had a lot of these principles back in the 90s. And I've updated this presentation for today's broadcast because there's more information that I keep learning over time that helps me to accomplish my goals in a more powerful and direct and better way. So I hope that you'll be able to capture some of these things today and get ready to take notes right now. I want to just be completely honest with you. The fact is, what I'm going to speak about today, my belief system is a big piece of this. My background, my belief system, my perspective. Many of you know that I'm a Mormon. I'm a Latter-day Saint, and so that actually influences my perspective in a big way. Mainly in this fact that I believe that we're spiritual beings first and that we're having a human experience while we're here on this planet. And that really changes your perspective, because when you believe you existed before you came here and you believe you'll exist after you leave here, then it makes this earth life kind of a accomplishing place, a testing ground, if you will. And so that's how I look at things. That's what my perspective is. And I don't say these things to try to influence you religiously or spiritually or something. I'm just telling you what my background is and how that has influenced the way I view these goals, okay? And so I'm going to speak about that as I go through this, because that's how I see things, and it's what's influenced my life and helped me to have a lot of the success in the foundation that I have. This is a quote that is world famous. This quote was quoted by Nelson Mandela in his inauguration speech when he was elected the first black man to be the president of the nation of South Africa. Marianne Williamson said this a long time ago, but it is absolutely true, and it relates back to what I just said a moment ago in regards to my background and my perspective. Quote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Yeah, people see our examples and they see what we're able to do and they think, well, why not me? We give people permission to dream bigger, to think and to accomplish bigger things in their lives and with their families. So this is a great quote, and I absolutely believe that if you are a child of God and you are his offspring spiritually, then you have unlimited potential. You can be like your parents, basically. And so don't ever think that you're not worthy enough or you're not capable enough. It's in all of us, she says, and I believe that. Okay, now you got to be brutally honest with yourself. Okay, brutal honesty. So here we go. You must accept 100% personal responsibility for the current situation you find yourself in today. That's a hard thing because a lot of us could blame other things, other people, excuse me, circumstances, things that have happened to us. We've become a victim in some way, or we may believe we're a victim in some way. Otherwise, what you're trying to do, if you're not willing, excuse me, if you're not willing to take 100% responsibility for the place you find yourself right now, the exact place, then otherwise you're trying to escape rather than change. And change is hard, and it's easier to escape many times. And so we have to take that full responsibility, and only then are we acting in a mature enough manner that we're ready to change. And so don't blame anybody else or anything else for where you find yourself right now, where you find yourself physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, wherever you find yourself in your life. It is a sum total of our own actions and the way we think, the way we position ourselves. You've heard me say this before if you've listened to any of my broadcasts or you've been to any of these goal-setting speeches that I've done over the years, that this is change, and it goes all the way from thoughts to destiny, right? So it is watch your thoughts, because every single thing that we have that occurs in our lives begins with a thought someplace in our brains. And we as human beings are uniquely positioned in the entire living world, the entire kingdom of animals and human beings and the entire world. We uniquely as human beings can reason. We can reason, we can think, and we can create our future in our minds before it even happens in reality. In fact, that's where it has to happen. It's got to start there first. So watch your thoughts. And again, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later here, because they become your words. Whatever you think about enough, you will eventually verbalize. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, because actions repeated over and over become your habits, right? And watch your habits, because they become your character. That's who you become. Watch your character, because it becomes your destiny. And we've got two kinds of habits. We've got habits that make us slaves and habits that are our servants. And if you develop bad habits, you will enslave yourself to them and they will control your life. If you develop great habits throughout your life, then they will be servants. So habits are the worst of masters or the best of servants. And those good habits, like almost not thinking about them because they're habits, will continue to propel you forward in your life and help you accomplish amazing things. Think about your self-talk. Are you your own worst enemy? How do you talk to yourself? I learned this early on. You can't say to yourself, "Oh man, I'm so stupid," or "I'm so dumb," or "Why did I do these things?" Don't even think about talking to yourself like that. You've got to say to yourself when you make a mistake that you think is dumb, you got to say, "Wow, that's not like me. I'm better than that. I don't do those kinds of things." You've got to live up to your potential, even in the way you communicate with yourself. So very important about your self-talk, and I think this comes from having the right perspective, knowing who you really are. You're a spiritual being first, right? Having a human experience. Your potential is unlimited. You can accomplish anything. And so think about yourself like that. And when you make a dumb mistake, then put it off to the fact that that's not like you. It's not what you would normally do or be, and that you will be better in the future. You've heard this before, and this is a scripture from the Old Testament, the book of Proverbs. And this scripture is where James Allen, one of the very first great thinkers of self-improvement in this world, born in the 1860s, died in 1913. This guy was prolific in his thinking, and he influenced everybody Norman Vincent Peale. He's influenced all the great writers who've written about personal improvement. And he was the one who took this scripture and started to ponder this and made it his life's work. For as a man thinketh, or as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. And the other scripture is, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? So this is the basic fundamental truth. And it's the fact that as human beings can change our future by changing our thoughts in our brain. Faith and fear cannot exist in the same body at the same time. Another scripture, this time from the New Testament. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear. And so when you have total faith in yourself, you got faith in the process you put in place, you got faith in your goals and the good things that you want to accomplish in your life, then you won't have fear about them. And a lot of people have fear about this business. They got fear about contacting people, speaking to other people, fear about certain situations, fear about speaking in public, fear about getting out of their comfort zone. When you are focused on your goals and you are motivated by those goals and you have a specific plan of action, then there is no fear. It's just action. It's faith. It's exhilarating. It's exciting about where you're heading in your life. And just remember that there will be a time of accountability, and you ought to be taking an account of your own self every year. That's why I love this time of year. I love having a new year ahead of us, because to me it's all new potential. And as I near 60 years of age here in a few years, your perspective changes, and you start to think about, where are you? And as the time goes clicking by, maybe 3/4 of my life is over. Who knows how long I'll live? But when you think about it in that way, you get a little more urgent about the time that is remaining. If you're young and you're in your 20s and you're listening to this, don't think, well, I've got my whole life, I've got all this time ahead of me. You have unlimited potential, and you'll need every minute to keep moving forward, keep pressing forward right to the very end. You're going to endure to the end, and to go out and continue to improve every year of your entire life. So if you haven't ever read the parable of the talents in the New Testament in Matthew chapter 25, that is one of the great chapters of all Scripture. Dig into that, verses 15 through 30, and read about the man who was given 5 talents, and the one who was given 2, and the one who was given 1 talent. And the one that had 5 was industrious and made 5 more during his life. And the one that was given 2 was industrious and made 2 more. Both of them had the same increase in their talents, right? It's not how many, it's the increase. It's what you're able to do with what you've been given. And the person that was given 1 talent in this story was afraid that they would screw up and lose the 1 talent. And the scripture is clear when he said to the master, the master says, what did you bury it for? And he said, I knew you were a hard man, and I was afraid. And there's that fear thing right there. The guy was afraid, so he buried his talent in the earth, and he didn't go out and multiply his talents. And that's what we cannot do. We cannot bury our talents or not get out there, put ourselves out there, challenge whatever. Now, 700,000 in the United States around at 120,000 of 7 forward in my life. In